Hi, I'm Tisha Tyler, and welcome to UBNN Community News Brief, sponsored by SAIC and Cricket Communications. A local author has done something very few writers ever do. She's published 2 novels at the same time and launched both of her books at the Elementary Institute of Science. UBNN reporter Pamela Davis was there.
Local author Cheryl Mallory Johnson showcased her new books and thanked her supporters at her book launch at the Elementary Institute of Science. Mallory Johnson has finished 2 different works of fiction aimed at 2 very different audiences.
It took me about 16 months to write it, but that was trial and error, and then you have to go back.
L.A. Summer is the first novel in a young adult series. The novel centers around 3 African-American teenagers and their adventures over one summer in Los Angeles. Audience members at the book launch were treated to a reading by young actress Brielle Banks.
Basically, my brother and I both had to cope after moms and dad called it quits.
Banks said the first time she read the book, she had a hard time putting it down.
There was times where I didn't eat because I was so just into the novel. So it's that kind of book.
And she believes young women will get more out of the novel than a good read.
A lot is going on in the world, and I think this book will really give a sense to young girls about how important friendship is.
When I was that age, I think I recall reading more adult books, and that's why I wanted to write a teen series that was on the cusp of adulthood, but yet at the same time teens could still relate to.
Sense of Love is Mallory Johnson's other novel. She describes it as a love story for a more mature audience.
I'm just hoping people enjoy this love story, can relate to the characters, and see a piece of themselves in some way.
The reading featured veteran performers Yolanda Franklin and Devon Smash.
I'm out of practice with this, but I thought I might call you sometime. Take you out for a drink or a nice dinner, whichever you prefer, to show my appreciation.
I don't date married men.
A former social worker, Mallory Johnson left her government job and took a chance on a career in writing.
Cheryl really stepped out of faith and courage. She left one career to pursue her passion.
And sometimes accomplishing your dream takes time.
It was a 10-year process, but in terms of novel writing, probably about approximately 5. In terms of this day coming, a lifetime.
Pamela Davis for UBNN.
Both the Cheryl Mallory Johnson's novels, Sense of Love and L.A. Summer, are available at barnesandnoble.com and amazon.com. Parents and students came together in an open forum to voice their concerns about the education of African American and Latino students. Jay Williams has this report.
Members of the San Diego Unified School District took part in a panel discussion on building a better educational community for African Americans and Latino families.
But it was just the opposite. My son is actually highly intelligent.
Educators, community stakeholders, parents, and students from the 4th District were among those who attended this town hall forum at the Malcolm X Library.
That they are not receiving their IEPs in Spanish.
The topics discussed were homeschool community partnerships, the A through G curriculum, creating exit plans for special education, and building relationships. Edith Smith, founder of the Family Resource Support Center, says meetings such as this one are vital to the community.
It was designed to provide a dialogue for African Americans to learn to build better educational communities for their children. The hope was to have a free-flowing dialogue. We invited in a lot of people from different districts so that dialogue can be had, so that information can be provided to the parents.
Other concerns addressed were the lack of cultural sensitivity in special education among African American students.
Some of the issues that we addressed today were overrepresentation of minorities in special education, the lack of interventions before we put a child into special education, and much of that comes from not honoring that child's cultural background.
4th District City Councilman Tony Young was also a member of the panel.
I used to be a teacher, but basically it's a program that's supposed to support kids who have been identified with some type of learning or physical disability. The questions that you heard today are related to how that program is actually functioning. Number one, are we actually supporting the kids who have identified? Have we identified the right kids? Why is there a disproportionate amount of kids who are of color, specifically African Americans who are identified? And how to access, when it comes to the parents, how to interface with the teachers and the schools related to the programs.
Ms. Martinez says there is a plan.
The main thing you have to have is a well thought out plan, and then you have to execute that plan over time, because you're not going to see changes overnight. It takes sometimes years. We know that children don't have years.
In a report on African American achievement prepared by the San Diego County Office of Education in May 2009, demographics and academic performance indicators show that if change is going to happen, it must start at the top first.
There's no reason why there's so many African Americans who have been identified as special ed kids.
I'm Jay Williams for UBNN.
Mrs. Smith plans to have regular meetings in the community in the coming months. I'm Tisha Tyler, and this has been a UBNN Community News Brief.